What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's episode of my podcast. As usual, I just want to take the time out to thank everyone that tunes in to listen, give a like, share, give a comment. Really means a lot to me. Today's episode is called Free Yourself. In today's society, a lot of us seem to have this plantation or slave mentality or way of thinking. Back in slavery, the slave that worked in the house thought they were better than the slave that worked in the field. And the slave that worked in the field had a lot of animosity towards the one that worked in the house. So they were really fighting amongst each other when they should have been fighting against the source, which is the slave master. A lot of us have this mentality in this society that is just so crazy. You have black Dominicans who keep saying, I know black, I know black, I know black. But in the eyes of the government and the law, you are. When you get pulled over by the cops, they don't stop to say or ask you, are you Dominican or are you just black? You're just fortunately, I hate to say it, a nigger to them. You have people who are immigrants or Latinos who have come to this country and were immigrants at one point in time, hating on immigrants trying to come into this country that make a better way of life for themselves and their families. But instead of joining forces with them, they punch down on them, they persecute them, they alienate them. But really, you should be pointing the finger at America, white America particularly, in these corporations for using you for as labor or as entertainment. They pay you migrant wages, and then when they're done with you, they call ICE or immigration or whoever on you. I mean, it's not right. You have poor white people who feel like they're self entitled to government benefits over other marginalized poor people. But at the end of the day, you're all poor. Maybe instead of hating on those people, you should be hating on the government, or better yet, corporations. Many of these people work. I mean, unlike how the GOP thinks, they think people who are getting Medicaid and food stamps are lazy. But the fact of the matter is, many of them have jobs. Maybe the government should be going after these corporations for paying such little wages that people still need government support. It's almost like they're double dipping because many of these companies get government handouts and bailouts, but yet they still can't pay a living wage to their employees. I mean, it's ridiculous. You have this like slave mentality where we fight amongst each other when we really should be fighting along one another. I mean, you have Donald Trump who's bailing out Argentina and allowing them to send their tainted beef to this country instead of trying to help the American farmer. So apparently he doesn't really give a fuck about us. He doesn't care if we get hand, foot, and mouth disease as long as it helps his bottom line. Um, you want to do trade talks and negotiate with China, but you don't want to. You cut off trade talks with Canada. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You have Mike Johnson who would rather campaign and talk to leaders about trying to get Donald Trump the Nobel Peace Prize, but he's too busy to pick up the phone or go to Congress and negotiate a deal with the Democrats so that government can open back up so people don't lose their food stamps. I mean, you know things are bad when Marjorie Taylor Greene makes sense and tells about how all the people are hurting because of this shutdown and going against the Republican Party. I never thought I'd see that, to be honest with you. You have ICE detaining US citizens. I think there was a report like 170 US citizens have been detained. They're telling these people that they have no rights just because they have a darker complexion or speak a different language. That goes against human rights and that's illegal. I mean, it's time for us to stop fighting amongst each other, like I said, and stand up and fight this corrupt administration. It is preposterous. Like, I don't understand that you would rather see people starve, lose their health care, go bankrupt over illnesses. Children are going to die. They're already suffering as it is. And I bet you Donald Trump isn't losing one wink of sleep over it. And that's not leadership. That's not democracy. That's not even moral decency. It's just greed, corruption. And instead of putting this man on a pedestal and admiring him, you need to call him out for his bullshit. A lot of people in our history of our society were admired and they led their people astray. Jim Jones literally had his people drink the Kool Aid, and look what happened to them. Charles Manson had followers, and look what happened to them. So maybe you guys should stop drinking the Kool Aid, stop admiring this person, and wake up and free yourself from the plantation that you're on, this MAGA plantation where you think that things are going to get better. He hasn't made things cheaper. He hasn't ended really any wars. He hasn't had an idea for health insurance. He's had concepts of a plan. The man has been in and out of office for the past, what, almost 10 years? And he has a concept of a plan. Nothing substantial, nothing that will benefit you. And the thing that makes me even more furious is that the people telling you that socialized medicine or universal health care is wrong are the people themselves that have free health insurance. So what's good for them is not good for you. I mean, look at it. The major health insurance companies get a government subsidy. They then turn around and charge corporate America or your companies a premium. The company covers part of it. You then pay the other part of it with your paycheck. So it's almost like they're triple dipping. Many are brainwashed and say, oh, socialized medicine's wrong. Oh, I don't want to pay more taxes. Think of it this way: if you paid a little bit more in taxes like Canada does, you would have free health insurance, which means that your company would not have to cover part of your premium, which means you wouldn't have to have money taken out of your paycheck. That extra money that you're not spending, you can live off of. That extra money that the company is not paying for your insurance could be going to you or could be going to better infrastructure in your company, whether it's the facility or the technology that you're using. Maybe it could go to like health coverage or daycare coverage, something that could benefit you. But instead, you would rather try to ice skate uphill to try to make ends meet because you've been brainwashed to thinking that capitalism is the best way to go. And it's not. It helps if you're rich. It helps if you have a corporation or shareholders because they're the only ones that are benefiting, especially since the pandemic. They've quadrupled their profits while our wages have been stagnant. And now, if they roll back these ACA subsidies, you're going to be paying more in health insurance, which means you're already struggling as it is. So now you're definitely going to be underwater. You're going to be struggling to afford either medicine or food. You definitely probably won't be able to pay rent. Many of us, the dream of owning a house is just that, a dream, a fantasy. It'll never happen. You're living in a society now where you have to have a hustle or a side job just to make ends meet. When just not that long ago, a person, usually a man, I don't know, for whatever reason, that's the way our society was, could work in a factory and a warehouse and support his family and have a little extra money left. Now, heaven forbid, trying to think about going to the movies or going to a sporting event or out anywhere, most of your money now is going to rent and food. Heaven forbid you have any entertainment, but this government and this administration says you're lazy. Really? Is that the case? Or are you being bamboozled, led astray, had the wool pulled over your eyes, and lied to? I mean, think about it. Are things getting any better for you? He promised on day one to make things cheaper, and they haven't gotten cheaper. He said that your lives would get better. Well, take a look in the mirror, pull the wool off your eyes, wake up and smell the coffee. Have things gotten better for you? I mean, has it? No, it hasn't. And you just keep thinking that at some point things are going to get better. At some point, things are going to turn around. At some point, he's going to fulfill his promises. And it's not happening. It's never going to happen because he only cares about himself and people in his tax bracket and people who will admire him, give him money, buy his merch. Well, I don't care how many watches you have, how many pairs of his sneakers you have, how many MAGA hats you have. If you were making under like $100,000, which most of us are, your life is not going to improve one iota because he doesn't care about you. He's never cared about you. He persuaded you, he lied to you just to get into office, just to stay out of jail. And now he's going after his political enemies. He's violating so many acts, so many laws. He doesn't care about democracy. He doesn't care about the Constitution. He doesn't even care about running this country. He just wants to enrich himself, his family, his donors. And maybe if you start thinking like a slave and realize that massa is trying to enslave you and entrap you and take your money, maybe you would be a little upset. But that's just my way of thinking. That's just me just being honest. But maybe y'all get there at some point too. Well, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I hope to hear your ideas, your thoughts, your views. And, catch you on the flip side.